Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicleknight channel. In today's video, we'll be showcasing Dragalge from the Crown Zenith set. What makes this card special is that for a stage 1 single prize Pokemon, it is one of the strongest poison damage dealers in the game. Dragalge has 2 attacks, and what makes this Pokemon stand out is for its first attack, Rocket Poison. For just 1 dark energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. However, if this Pokemon just evolved from Skrelp during this turn, you can deal 8 damage counters between checkup for the poison instead of just 1. And we can increase the poison damage even further with the help of Radiant Hisuian Sneasler for its Poison Peak ability, which adds 2 more damage counters to your opponent's poison Pokemon between checkup, thus increasing that poison to 100 damage between turns. 100 poison damage is no joke. Between 2 of your turns, you can technically knock out even a VMAX Pokemon. One downside to this attack is that you have to have just evolved into Dragalge during this turn to activate the increased poison damage, otherwise it will just be a normal poison. But not to worry, because we have access to Scoop Up Nets. This will allow us to remove Dragalge from play, put it back into our hand, and if we have a lineup of Skrelp already set up, we can just evolve one and continue to deal the increased poison damage against our opponent's Pokemon. While your opponent can remove the poison just by removing their poison Pokemon out of the active spot, we can make it more difficult for them with the help of the Galar Mine Stadium. This will increase both players' Pokemon's retreat cost by 2 more energies. With this, you can trap your opponent's active Pokemon and let the poison damage do its thing, and hopefully get a knockout in the process. And for the most part, we're not affected by the Galar Mine Stadium since we have a couple of hiding energies in this deck as well. The Dark-type Pokemon with this on will have 0 retreat cost. And then Dragalge also has the attack Razor Fin. It deals 60 damage. What's great about having a regular attack is that you're not just sitting in the active waiting for the poison to do its thing. This will allow you to continue to attack with Dragalge in combination to the poison. And I have to admit, this build doesn't do too well against single price builds, which is why I added 1 line of Galarian Weezing with the Neutralizing Guess ability. While this is in your active spot, its ability turns off your opponent's Pokemon's abilities. With this, you can slow down or even completely shut down certain builds so that you can get the upper hand. And it also has the attack Severe Poison. For 1 dark energy, this poisons your opponent's active Pokemon and it will deal 4 poison damage between checkup. To help fix the math on the damage we can deal, having 1 copy of Galarian Zigzagoon is really helpful. This has the Headbutt Tantrum ability. If you put this from your hand to the bench, you can put 1 damage counter on 1 of your opponent's Pokemon. And you can reuse this ability with the Scoop Up Net as well. And I also added 2 copies of Rocket Helmet Tool Card. Whenever your active Pokemon with this equipped is damaged by an attack, the attacking Pokemon will receive 2 damage counters. And I've been really wanting to add this Skuntank V in a deck, so here we have it. While this is circumstantial, its first attack is really interesting. For 2 energies, Pursuit Blast deals 30 damage to 1 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. However, if that Pokemon retreated during your opponent's last turn, this attack can deal 120 damage to that Pokemon instead. 120 snipe damage may just be able to finish off your opponent's already heavily poisoned Pokemon. The downside to this is that it only targets the bench. I did add 1 double turbo energy to power up this attack for a quick snipe where possible. However, it will reduce your attack by 20 damage. Its other attack is Shrieking Poison. For 1 dark and 2 colorless energy, this attack deals 90 damage. And it also inflicts poison and confusion on your opponent's active Pokemon. On paper, Skuntank V seems really great for this build since you can assume that your opponent would naturally retreat their Pokemon because of the poison. And then you can just finish them off with a quick snipe. However, against matchups that uses a lot of Pokemon V, you can always hide behind Miltank with the Miracle Body ability, which basically nullifies all attack damage from a Pokemon V. Sometimes you can just win automatically when your opponent has no counter for this Pokemon. And Miltank can also attack with Route. For 2 energies, you can deal anywhere from 10 to 110 damage depending on how many Pokemon your opponent has on their bench. For consistency, I did add a 2/2 line of Liepard with its trade ability. You have to discard 1 card from your hand to use this, and then you draw 2 extra cards. As for my supporter cards worth noting, first I have Pierce. This will allow you to search your deck for any 1 dark-type Pokemon and any 1 energy. And since Dragalge is so easy to get knocked out, having a copy of Raihan is also great. You can only use this when 1 of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's turn. You can accelerate a basic energy from the discard pile to 1 of your Pokemon, and then you search your deck for 1 card. And finally, I also have a copy of Clara so that you can recover 2 Pokemon and or 2 basic energies from the discard pile and put them into your hand. This may just allow you to continue to evolve into Dragalge so that you can barrage your opponent with the strong poison. The downside to this build is that there are a lot of counters when it comes to poison damage. Your opponent may be using Wash Energy, Aromatic Energy, Impact Energy, Big Parasol, Pokemon Center Lady, Aroma Lady, and these are just to name a few. You can use the Temple of Sinnoh Stadium to counter the effects of Special Energies, and Tool Scrapper or Lost Vacuum to counter Big Parasol. Other than that, I gotta be honest with you, you'll probably just have to concede on some of your matchups. This Dragalge showcase is more of a meme deck than anything. You'll probably lose a lot with this build, and I feel like a lot of the cards that make it work as a standalone deck is rotating out anyway, such as the Scoop Up Net, Galar Mine Stadium, Pierce, and even Galarian Weezing. But I gotta say, its poison is pretty impressive. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Dragalge. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a shout out and thank you to our newest sponsor and friend to this channel, TCGVee. Users will be able to buy and sell Pokemon TCG online codes with each other instantly, so please be sure to show your support to TCGVee. Links will be in the description below. Alright, let's get right into our first match. We are going to go first, and we're going to start this one with a Purloin to go in the active spot. Alright, this is such a scary start for us. I mean, we can evolve into a Liepard on our next turn. I'll just play Galar Mine Stadium to at least keep our opponent in the active spot, and we're just gonna put a Hiding Energy on Purloin, and we can retreat it easily on our next turn. But once we evolve into a Liepard, we can probably draw an extra card. Hopefully we can establish another basic Pokemon, otherwise we're just gonna lose to our opponent. And my opponent's playing Hisuian Samurott VSTAR. Okay. This seems like a winnable match, but if my opponent uses Hiding Energy as well, they could just easily retreat their Samurott and remove that poison once they get out of the active spot. So let's see. We'll do our best, see what happens. Alright, so they weren't able to attack on their first turn, which is good. And we're just going to use Trade ability. Draw 2 extra cards by discarding 1. Alright, we got a Snorlax. We might be able to draw extra cards with this while we establish our other basic Pokemon. We got Skuntank-V, and we're just gonna Gormandize. So the next step basically is to find our main attacker here, which is the Dragalge line. We gotta get those Skrelps available, set up so that we can evolve it to increase poison. And my opponent is going to fully evolve their Hisuian Samurott VSTAR, and with the energies required to attack, so they can attack this turn. However, Hisuian Samurott VSTAR's attack is only increased if there is damage counters on their opponent's target, or on their target basically. But without it, they can only deal 110 damage. They are gonna boss my Skuntank-V, which is really bad. They have Air Balloon. They can hard retreat, but they're gonna lose all of their energy, and they're just gonna attack for 110 damage. However, they could knock out our Skuntank-V in the next turn. Skuntank-V is very circumstantial, I gotta be honest with you. And it actually adds liability to this deck, which is really, really sad. So I'm just gonna use Judge for now. We're gonna see, okay, we still can't get our basic setup here. I'm just gonna use Trade and then discard this energy again. More energies. Okay, I'll just power up my Miltank. I'm just gonna Gormandize. Alright, I guess half the battle is finding your basic Pokemon so that you can set them up. We got Purloin, but I don't want to put too many Pokemon because I need to rotate between attackers so I can scoop up my Dragalge line and then re-evolve them to have that increased poison basically set up when I need it to. But my opponent has 2 Hisuian Samurott VSTAR set up. They also have Galarian Moltres V, which they can easily charge up with its ability. And Choice Belt, they could easily target our Skuntank-V. Yeah, I like Skuntank. Skuntank-V is good in some situations, but it's not all the time. Especially its first attack only targets the bench. You can't even target the active, and you'll need 3 energies to use its attack. Its attack is pretty good. You can confuse and poison your opponent's active Pokemon, but 3 energies, I guess as a standalone, you can actually make a deck out of it. Maybe on another video. Let me just use this quick ball so we can finally set up our Skrelp. And we're just gonna use Bruno, draw 4 cards, and then, okay, we can probably get another Skrelp here. And then, no, let's get our Radiant Hisuian Sneasler to increase our poison. So if my opponent doesn't know what's coming, we're just gonna use that. increase our poison to 100 damage or 10 damage counters. And with the Galar Mine Stadium, as long as that sticks, that stadium sticks, we should be able to knock out their Hisuian Samurott VSTAR within 3 turns, or 3 in between turns. Alright, so we're just gonna use Avery, draw 3 cards, and then they have to discard 1 card. They discard their Crobat. We're gonna use Trade, discard this Purloin. Alright, let's scoop up our Snorlax so that we can use our Dragalge. We have an energy. We can evolve, so now we can increase our poison to 100 damage. Thanks to our Hisuian Sneasler, or our Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. So now we wait. We just basically have to wait for this poison to do its thing. And they have potion. Okay. See how much they can heal from that. But 70 damage is good. If they don't have any other healing cards to use, we might still be able to knock it out after 2 turns. So they are using Zigzagoon. They power up their Galarian Moltres. They have the barrel to draw extra cards, and they're probably trying to find something to switch out. They're active, but no, they're just gonna attack for 220 damage, knocking out our Dragalge. But that's all right. We actually already have another one that we can set up. But we're just gonna pivot into our Liepard. We can easily retreat it. And another option we have is just retreat back to our Miltank so that they cannot attack it, because it is immune to the Pokemon's damage. And then we're just gonna wait out until this poison knocks it out, and then all their attackers cannot touch our Miltank, so we're good. We got an escape rope, so we finally got a knockout from that poison damage. And we're pretty safe right now, unless my opponent has escape rope as well, or a boss order that can boss maybe our Skuntank V. Yeah, on paper Skuntank V is okay, because you would assume that your opponent would retreat, and then you can just snipe them, and you can actually get the double turbo energy with Pierce. So if you could do that, you can easily snipe, hit for 100 damage. Because again, the double turbo energy reduces your attack by 20 damage. So 100 bench damage might just be enough to knock out a retreating Pokemon after dealing so much damage with Dragalge's poison. But like I said, it's very circumstantial. Sometimes your opponent will retreat and it'll still have a lot of HP. That Skuntank will not be able to knock it out. So very circumstantial, but it could be useful. On paper, it does make sense. But like I said, with Miltank in the active spot, we are untouchable. Alright, they're gonna use their VSTAR ability to put 4 damage counter on Skuntank, and Miltank deflects their attack. Alright, so we got a scoop up net. We can scoop up our Miltank and then deal some poison damage on their Hisuian Samurott VSTAR, but we're just gonna use escape rope, and then we can deal an easy knockout. Okay, they're gonna put their other Samurott V in the active spot. We're just gonna pivot out with our Liepard, use Pierce to get another Dragalge to evolve into another energy, and then we're just gonna continue on with the poison. So far, we are doing okay. And then we're just gonna use Trade to draw 2 more cards, and yeah, Rocket Poison, 100 damage. There it is. We are doing okay in this matchup, guys. I am actually, but they're gonna evolve. That does remove the poison once they evolve. So, all right, that's a good out. They can knock out my Dragalge, but we have another lineup. We can use Raihan to power up our other Skrelp, evolve into a Dragalge, and continue that poison damage to knock out another Hisuian Samurott VSTAR. So yeah, the tempo of this build is not fast, okay? Because You have to wait for that poison to take effect. You can't just hit for a huge amount of damage. You actually have to wait it out. You have to wait for that poison to deal damage in between turns. Or in between checkup is the other term for it. Alright, so my opponent's trying to set up another Samurott. But I don't know. Do they have anything that can take out our Galar Mine Stadium? The Galar Mine Stadium is a very essential part of this build, actually, because without the Galar Mine Stadium, your opponent can just continue to retreat back, and they're just gonna attack. 110 damage. It doesn't even knock out our Dragalge. So you know what? We're just gonna scoop it out and reset up our other Skrelp to evolve into Dragalge. We got an energy from their Marnie, so. And then we're just gonna equip our Rocky Helmet, and then we're gonna sacrifice that so we can use Serena, draw extra cards, use Trade, discard this. We don't need that in this matchup, and we're just gonna Rocket Poison for another 100 damage against our opponent's Hisuian Samurott VSTAR. There it is. I gotta say, this build only works against matchups that really doesn't have any counter against poison, and it's a very specific matchups that you can really win against with this build. And to be honest with you, you're not gonna win every game. Probably 40% of the games you'll win, especially if it's a straightforward matchup and they don't have a lot of switching options or anything to remove poison. Then you'll win that game. Like this Samurott V, I think if they have hiding energy included in this matchup, they could probably just retreat and continue to deal damage. And I think the fact that they don't have a lot of stadium to counter Galar Mine Stadium is actually what's probably affecting their performance against our build. Because a lot of Hisuian Samurott VSTAR builds actually have the Gapejaw Bog Stadium. But you know what? That poison takes another knockout against another Hisuian Samurott VSTAR, guys. We are doing great with this matchup. This is a nice showcase with Dragalge. And going into our turn as well. And that's one technique that you actually have to learn too, is if you can see how the sequencing goes, if you can deal poison damage, and then if you can time it where it will knock out your opponent at the end of their turn, you can get another extra turn basically. And Liepard is so great at drawing extra cards. It's so great at filling your hand with the cards you need. I'm just gonna poison this guy, 3 poison damage. And then when they attack, they're gonna receive 30 recoil damage from their attack with this Galarian Moltres V. And then they also get 2 extra damage from the Rocky Helmet. And after that, they can receive 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we can probably just knock it out with another Dragalge, but we don't have one in our hand right now. So 140 damage. Okay, I mean we could Zigzagoon ping 1 damage, I guess, right? And then deal 100 poison damage. So let's Ordinary Rod these 2. That way we have access to another Dragalge, 2 more energies, and then we should have Zigzagoon in the deck. I'll just sacrifice my boss. There's the Zigzagoon. And then all we want to do is basically increase that poison damage to 100. So deal 1 damage counter, sacrifice these 2 to get a Dragalge, evolve, increase that poison damage, put the hiding energy interactive, and then that's going to deal the 100 poison damage between checkup, and There it is. There's the knockout for the win. Not too bad. Good game. All right, let's move on to our next match. Cool. We're going to start this one with Snorlax in the active spot. We also have Hisuian Radiant Hisuian Sneasler, which will increase our poison damage. And we have Pierce. So Pierce is going to help us find the dark type Pokemon we need, depending on our matchup here. Okay, we're going against Dracozolt V or VMAX. They're going to pass. Let's use Pierce. I'm going to set up my Skrelp and get an energy. Let's get a hiding energy. And then put an energy here. Rocky Helmet, Galar Mine Stadium, and we're just gonna Gormandize. All right, so let's gauge this matchup. So Dracozolt VMAX, once they evolve, it hits for 60 damage basically. They're not gonna use this to attack. They're gonna evolve into a Dracozolt VMAX. So Dracozolt VMAX attacks for 60, and then when you attack it, you get damage 120. You'll receive 12 damage counters when you attack this Dracozolt. So they're gonna focus on healing, but if we can poison it, the effect of their attack is actually not gonna affect us. So we're just gonna see if we can set up as much basics as we can. We will set up our Liepard line so that we can draw extra cards. Put this hiding energy, scoop up our Snorlax, and I'm just thinning out my hand so I can draw extra card with my Gormandize. All right, we got Miltank. We can actually win against this matchup if we just use Miltank. They can't damage it, and we could just wait until they run out of cards. But they have more cards than we do, so we're probably gonna lose the race. The deck out race, but we're gonna play Miltank just in case, evolve into a Liepard, and then we're gonna use its trade ability. Let's see what we could do here. I can use Bruno, but let me just Gormandize for now. They're not knocking out my Snorlax just yet. Galarian Weezing, I don't think it's going to be useful against this matchup. I mean, you can use its poison, but they're not using any abilities. One way out of this basically is just to use our Dragalge, deal 100 poison damage against their Dracozolt VMAX, and then just wait it out. I know they use a lot of healing options in this build that we're going up against, but let's evolve this. I'm hoping for a scoop up net. Let's use Bruno, take a risk. Maybe we can get a scoop up net and start poisoning this guy. Oof, we whiffed that one. We just discard this, and then I'll get another Skrelp. Okay, we missed that, but that's fine. So I'll set up another Skrelp. If we got a scoop up net, we can just scoop up this other guy, re-evolve it into another Dragalge, but we also need energy. And then they're gonna knock out our Snorlax, so that's not good. Just gonna pivot into Liepard. We can easily retreat it, and we have Bruno. Okay, let's evolve this. I'm pretty sure we can get an energy in a scoop up net here. Or we don't need a scoop up net, we just need an energy. Okay, we got an energy. Nice. Let's put an energy here, retreat, and then use trade. Okay, I think we're good. Let's just use Rocket Poison. Yeah, let's just use Rocket Poison for now. So 100 poison damage, 10 damage counters, and then we just wait it out. They can't knock out my Dragalge just yet. They can use the second attack if they have another energy. But yeah, we wait this out. Let's just see how much healing my opponent can do here. They have Honey, they have Lucky Ice Pop. Sweet Honey, alright. Full Face Guard. That's not gonna matter against this matchup because our poison damage is not an attack. It's not an attack damage. So that full face guard is not gonna affect the performance of our poison. So they're just gonna knock out my Dragalge, and maybe I could just attack this guy, increase the damage, but then the full face guard. Let's use Zigzagoon a few times here. Can we reach that mark where we can just have that poison knock it out? 170, 270 at the end of this turn. Let's get another Skrelp. And then use Judge. Okay, we can find Dragalge on our next turn with our Pierce. Use Trade, discard this Quick Ball, and a Scoop Up Net. Okay. 100. Okay, we still have a lot to go. Could save my scoop. I'll just wait it out then. 270. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. All right, so this Dracozolt VMAX is not getting away that easily. My only fear is that if they play another Dracozolt VMAX line, they could just switch it out and then use probably Cheryl. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was thinking about. And then just full heal. And they only need 1 energy to attack for 60 and set up for that trap, basically. If we attack it, we receive 120 damage. Go ahead and get Pierce and get a Dragalge and an energy with Pierce. And I'm just gonna use Razor Fin, 40 damage. Oh, we got the recoil damage, but that's all right. We should be able to survive any attack here. I'm just gonna put my Miltank in the active. We can scoop it up and then use our Dragalge in our next turn. That Path to the Peak is actually going to interfere with Sneasler's ability. All right, they're gonna heal with Lucky Ice Pop, 20. Oh, they keep getting Tails, Pokey Gear, and a Marnie. If they can't heal any further from this, dude, that poison is basically just gonna knock out their Dracozolt VMAX. Let's see what my opponent does here. Oh, they attack, but they can't touch our Miltank, and that's it. Well played. We're just gonna pass, let the poison do its thing for a knockout. All right. Took a while, but hey, we got through it. Good game. All right, let's move on to our last match. All right, we're gonna start this one with Skuntank V in the active spot. Skuntank V, man. Maybe I could just make a standalone deck with this one, because the poison damage that Dragalge uses is actually pretty strong. It's just very circumstantial, I think, Skuntank V, and then you have this 2-prizer as a liability in the deck. All right, so my opponent's gonna start with Arceus V in the active spot, and also they have Serperior. Let's see what we got here. We have 2 quick balls. We can probably set up. Can get a Snorlax. I can retreat. Yeah, I can retreat with the double turbo energy. I mean, we can power it up with Raihan, I guess. And then use another quick ball. Think of setting up Purloin so we can get extra card or extra draw, but I think Miltank is good, especially if my opponent uses a lot of V Pokemon. They might not be able to damage our Miltank at all. All right, we got a Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. We're just gonna Gormandize. Yeah, let's just Gormandize. Let's see what we get. Okay, we got another quick ball for our next turn. That's good. We got a few energies. Ordinary Rod is gonna help us recover those energies if we need it. And then my opponent evolves into their Serperior VSTAR. And with not enough energy on their Arceus, all they can do is use Trinity Charge to put 3 grass energies on their Serperior VSTAR, which actually fully energizes it. Now they can attack on their next turn. All they need to do is switch out their Arceus V and then go from there. All right, so they pass it along to us after the attack. I'm gonna power up my Skuntank V just in case we need it. And then I'm going to start setting up my Dragalge line. I can use Judge actually. Yeah, let's just do that. Use Judge. That will also reshuffle my opponent's hand, draw 4 cards, and then I can sacrifice my boss. And I could set up another Skrelp. That way I'll have 2 lines that I can use for poison. And I'm just gonna Gormandize for 5. Alright. So we have Pierce. We can use that to evolve into Dragalge next turn. Oh, they're also using Crushing Hammer. Okay, they failed. Good. They have Zarude V as well. And they're just gonna continue to charge up their Pokemon V. Alright, so their setup is going pretty well as well. So I guess the only thing that we have in this matchup is that they're only taking 1 prize at a time, although they could get 2 from our Skuntank V. But still, that's gonna take them a lot of effort before they can win this game. And we're just gonna continue to set up here 2 Rocky Helmets on both of our Skrelps, and then we can just evolve it on our next turn. My opponent can knock out my Snorlax, that's fine. And then with this Serperior VSTAR in the active spot, if they cannot retreat it, we might be able to knock it out with our Dragalge's Poison. So we're all set up here. What we could do is just put our Skrelp in the active spot. You can even get another Pokemon with the Ultra Ball. But we have Pierce in our hand, so we could just use that to get a Dragalge. And another energy. Evolve our active. And I could use Ultra Ball. But I'm just gonna attack with Rocket Poison, dealing 100 poison damage again with the help of Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. So 8 damage counters is good already, but +2 is even greater. Now, compared to our other poison damage dealers, Galarian Wheezing takes the top, of course, because it can also turn off abilities, which really goes a long way. And it counters a lot of decks, especially the Lost Zone deck. And then the next one that I can think of is Hisuian Quillfish. Or Overquill. Hisuian Overquill. That can deal 5 damage, poison damage between checkup, but you can attack for free. So that's I think that one would take second, and then Dragalge hits for a lot of poison damage, but it's just really hard to set up. So I would put this on third between those 3. So my opponent's Serperior VSTAR knocks out our Dragalge. We're just gonna put our Miltank in the active, so at least we can block their attacks while we stall here. And I'm just gonna get... I can get another Dragalge, but I think I need to set up a Purloin because we need to have that constant draw, basically. And I'm just gonna pass. That's gonna knock out their Serperior VSTAR for a total of 320 damage, getting us 2 prizes. We got a Raihan and another Skrelp. So far, so good. I think we did a good job with with the build. I like Miltank because you just basically negate attacks and you don't lose it. Compared to I was thinking of using Jinx. You can power up with 2 colorless energy, double the damage, which is actually a good option too. Make your game faster after you deal a lot of poison damage, but then when they knock it out, they don't get any prize, but you lose that Jinx. So, I mean, I guess it's preference. Both is good, but I prefer Miltank over anything. Until the EXs come out, I think our Miltank will do fine. Alright, we gotta scoop up Ned. We can get our Miltank out of there and then evolve into another Dragalge. Get a simple prize, but I think I'm gonna go for Wheezing for now. Let's recover some of our Pokemon and some energies with our Ordinary Rod. And yeah, I think we could deal an easy knockout here with our Miltank. Just use routes, 110 damage. Okay, Ultra Ball from our prizes. And yeah, Miltank, Miltank is just crazy. It can just instantly win you games, especially if your opponent focuses a lot on their V Pokemon as their main attacker. Against Mew VMAX, this has a potential to win that game, to win that Mew VMAX matchup. But since they have faster setup, it's really difficult to pull it off. Okay, they have a way to knock out our Miltank if they use their Cactus Pokemon, their Maractus, but until then, they have their Serperior VSTAR in the active spot. Okay, they're gonna use Crushing Hammer. They do succeed, and they remove 1 energy from our Miltank. Okay, but they can't attack. I don't know what's the point of that. See what my opponent does there. They're gonna switch out into their Arceus V. Okay. Probably they're just gonna energize their Pokemon again. Okay, that's exactly what they do. And they're powering up their Serperior V-Star again. Okay, now it's our turn. I mean, we can still get 2 prizes against this Arceus V. We can use Poison, and then if they attack our Pokemon with Rocky Helmet, they could just get knocked out. Okay, we got more energies from that. But the thing is, if they have Arceus V-Star, they could just evolve it, remove the poison. But you know what? The initial 100 poison damage could make a big difference. So I'll just... Alright, I'm just gonna thin out my hand as much as I can. Evolve this. Scoop up my Miltank. And we're just gonna deal 100 poison damage, or 10 damage counters, whichever one you prefer. And then wait it out. So they need another energy on Arceus V to, if they want a hard retreat, remove that poison. Or they can evolve into Arceus V-Star, remove that poison. But with 100 damage on Arceus already, we are good to go. And if they retreat it, we can actually use our Skuntank to snipe it and knock it out. Maybe we can finally showcase our Skuntank in this matchup. But let's see what my opponent does. And that's what I mean with... Alright, they're just gonna knock out our Dragalge. That's what I mean with Skuntank V, you know. And you know what? With that checkup that just knocks out their Arceus V, we get 2 prizes for that going into our turn. And man, Dragalge is just strong. Given the right circumstance, man, Dragalge is really, really strong. But unfortunately, we can't showcase our Skuntank because my opponent just opts to die with a poison rather than retreating. Let's go ahead and use Ordinary Rod, recover some more of our Dragalge line, get our Zigzagoon as well, and 2 more energies back to our deck. I can use Raihan, I guess. Let's use Raihan, power up our Miltank. All we need is 1 energy on this Galarian Weezing anyways, and we're just gonna use Severe Poison, 6 damage counter between turns, so the initial damage will prove to be helpful here. And if my opponent has Aromatic Energy, we might not be able to win this one, but we need 1 more prize to go. We can probably just get one of those other Pokemon on their bench. We can even knock out their Maractus. Zigzagoon, ping 1 damage counter on it, then deal 100 poison damage. Can just get that last prize. But let's see what my opponent does. They can easily knock out my Galarian Weezing. Alright, they're gonna hard retreat into Zarude V. And alright, Jungle Rising. If they attach 1 energy, they can fully heal their Serperior V-Star. And that's exactly what they do, man. Zarude V, if you use it correctly, man, it's actually really strong. Fully healing your Pokemon is insane. Let's go ahead and use Skuntank V. Pursuit Blast. Wait, hold on. Yeah, Pursuit Blast. Wait. Let's use Clara first and recover some Pokemon before we do anything else, okay? Because we can only use one support card per turn. Might as well use up this, and then we'll leave one energy in case we can use right hand, and then we're just Pursuit Blast. Wait, hold on. Energize this Pursuit Blast, and let's go ahead and see that damage. 120 damage against their Serperior VSTAR. Okay. All right, there you have it, guys. Skuntank V showcase. 120 against bench. A Pokemon that just retreated from the last turn, your opponent's last turn, dealing 120 damage. Again, very circumstantial. With this deck, Galar Mine Stadium, your opponent doesn't usually retreat. They are going to attack for 130 damage with the help of the Choice Belt, but oh man, they just fully heal. I'm just going to retreat. This Skuntank is not doing any... it's not doing any good, man. Alright, let's just use Avery. Draw 3 cards. I can draw more cards with trade, but I'm just going to go for Rocket Poison here. And yeah, I think if they can't retreat their Zarude V, they can't heal it either unless they have any. If they have other healing cards, that's it. Once they knock out our Dragalge, that poison damage will deal between checkup. That's 200 damage, and then all we have to do is use Zigzagoon to finish it off for the win. But I'm thinking we can also use Skuntank. We haven't showcased it yet, so might as well just use Skuntank V to knock it out with style. But yeah, Dragalge, look at this, guys. I know this is like on a perfect matchup, and they're just gonna attack. 100 damage will affect it, and all we need to do is knock it out, basically. But we're gonna end this with style. We're gonna use Skuntank V to knock this guy out. Put another energy, and we're just gonna use Shrieking Poison for the win. There you have it, guys. Dragalge. Good game. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.